Welcome back. Now I want us to focus on Nora being treated as a doll. Wesley in the plot mentioned severally about Nora feeling that she has always been treated as a doll. And here we have two men who represent other men in the society, and they're responsible for making her feel like a weakling, feeling like she's a doll. And her husband and the father equally seem to be suppressing her as a girl, the father's girl, and also as Helma's wife. Do you really think that the two men contribute to her feeling of being treated as a doll?
Yes, because like, let me go to Helma. He's refusing Nora not to eat the macaroons as if she's a child, like how a father can tell a young one not to eat sweets because it's going to spoil her teeth. Yeah,
that is one. We realize that her husband treats her just like he would treat his son or his daughter. Though the use of the macaroons is symbolic, but the moment we take it literally, at first, we see that he's treating her more of a child than a wife, and which is the symbolic bit about her eating the macaroons, and then to some extent she has to lie to the husband that I did not take it. Sometimes she has to hide that she's going to eat the macaroons. What is the symbolic bit behind that?
I think the symbolic bit behind that is that she has to hide her inner passions, what she really feels. She's not allowed to express herself. So when she eats the macaroons, and when Torvald asks her if she's been to the confectioners or something like that, she says no, I don't. Okay, yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, so it indicates something to do with the deceit. She's also deceitful. Yeah, she's not speaking the truth. She's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? Yeah, because we see even this issue about her borrowing the loan. Yeah, they have been in a marriage for 8 years. The husband has not come to know about it. As you're saying, she's able to hide so much of her inner passions, or she's able to hide so much that is going on in her life. But we're saying that if we take it literally, it is one of the ways to show that her husband literally treats her like a doll. And that is why at last, when she's angry, she comes to the reawakening that she's being treated as a doll. What does she call the house? There is a name that she gives to the house. Which is the name that she gives to the house?
playroom.
Yeah, she calls it a playroom. Yeah, and of course we know what is there in a playroom. And coming back now to the title of the text, when we talk of this playroom, definitely it is the doll's house. And when we look at the cover page, of the text, after the title, we have a certain picture there. And of course, this is a picture that shows, this is a cage. Yeah, it is a kind of a cage. And we can see Nora as a caged woman. Yeah, she's a woman locked in a house, and this means that her life is locked up. Yeah, she's not given the freedom to go and exploit her potential to the fullest out there. Yeah, she's caged, she's locked up, she's being treated as a child, while the men are free. They go out earning money. Yeah, for her, she's just supposed to remain within. She's confined. And of course, this came as a result of the male dominance that was there in this society. So when she calls the house a playroom, it means, and of course we know that the husband loved her, yeah. And what do you think she feels about this? He plays around with her. He calls her pet names: my little skylark, my little squirrel, my singing bird. What do you think she feels at first about the playing around that the husband does with her?
I believe that she's happy because from the names that he's calling her and from the playing, she gets to see that Tova really loves her, and we get to see that in all of that, even though she leaves at the end and seeing that Tova did not really love her at all, we get to see that she was happy. But now the issue is that she was being the people in her, the men in her life were refusing her the opportunity to unleash her full potential. So I think she was happy at first. Yeah,
at first, of course, she's happy. And I think even most wives today, they are happy by the feeling of being spoiled by their husbands. Yeah, but of course for Nora, it came with the expense of not being, you are treated so much of a child that you don't have the capacity to go out there and exploit your potential. Yeah, so that is right. So when she calls their home a playroom, she has come to discover when it is too late that this has been a playroom. Yeah, she's not being treated as the wife that she's supposed to be treated and all that. And what else? When you talk about the symbol of a doll, what do we know about a doll?
Something to be petted, something to beautify the home. That's what Tova really sees Nora, the way she beautifies the home, the way she stays there.
Yeah, we have two issues that he mentioned, very important. One, we have dolls. We have babies who play with dolls, so we take it as a play item for one. And number two, in some of our houses you'll find dolls that are just put there for decoration purposes. Some of them are just meant to make everything look beautiful and all that. And of course this is the kind of a lifestyle that Nora was living in. And now when she comes to the awakening that I'm not supposed to be living the way I'm living, I'm not supposed to be treated the way I've always been treated, I'm not supposed to be treated the way Helma has always treated me. Yes, there is even a part in the text that she appreciates. He has been kind to me. But is it worth it? You be treated so kindly, but then you die a person who has not exploited her potential. Do you think that her awakening is okay at that age or at that stage in her life? Do you feel that this awakening that she gets is right at this stage?
From the other female character in the book, that is Mrs. Linde, who is independent, and as you can see, she's working as a clerk in the bank. I think that the awakening, although late, it has already come at the right time. But I don't see the need of her having to leave her family for this so-called awakening, because later we shall see that even Mrs. Linde wants that family, wants a family to take care of. So I think in as much as she's being awakened in the matters that are surrounding her right there and then, I think that she should have also considered that she has a family to raise. And maybe, I think that maybe Tova would have been happy if they sit down and agree if there is a way that he can help the awakening to grow and to boost into something beautiful.
So having mentioned Mrs. Linde, at this point, at the end of the text, she needs a husband. Do you think that she brings to us the significance of a marriage? Yeah, so we see Nora and Helma at the end. There is that divorce that happens. But through Mrs. Linde, do we understand the significance of a marriage? She has been through it.
Yeah, I think that through Mrs. Linde, we get to see the significance of marriage, because although she's independent, she's working, she's getting the salary and all of that, she still needs something or someone to take care of. And if not be biased, I think that's the basic nature. We all need somebody to care to, even if it's that little thing. So I think that in as much as Mrs. Linde is going back to Krogstad, was the first love, I think that, yeah, marriage is really important back then, and still now it should be important.
So does this tell us that however much achievements that we have in life, yeah, you see for Mrs. Linde, she says that she has a job, yeah, she's now having money. She doesn't have much responsibility like she had when she was marrying the rich man for the sake of her mother and the siblings. There is a time that she feels that now she's content about maybe the material things that we would want in life. Yeah, all of us want a good job. We also want a good salary. Yeah, we want to have a happy lifestyle. But what happens if you don't have a family? That is the issue that she's handling. Yeah, she brings us to the reality of life, that as much as you have made it in life, there is that emotional bit that you need to fulfill. After you've fulfilled all your financial desires, you are satisfied financially, there is that aspect that also needs to be fulfilled in life. And that is why towards the end of the text, she really pleads with Krogstad. You know, she had dismissed him long time ago when they were lovers. She gets married to this rich man, he dies. And in fact, she attests to the fact that she did not love that man. Yeah, she only loved him for material gain. And after he dies, she now lives a kind of a hopeless kind of a life. And don't forget, even Krogstad himself is living the same life that Mrs. Linde is living. Here we are having two lonely people. Yeah, so at the end of it, it becomes now 1 + 1. Yeah, two lonely people. Now they join hands and they make a happy life at the end of it all. So through Mrs. Linde, we are able to see that. there is value in marriage at the end of the day. In fact, she says that you need somewhere to get back to. Yeah, after you earn your money, this money you need to spend it on somebody. Yeah, you need a husband to take care of, you need a wife to take care of, you need children to take care of. So as much as we see a divorce at the end of the text, we still see that the marriage is still very, very relevant, and it is important as it fulfills most of the needs that people lack if they are not in a marriage. Yeah, so that is really important as we come to the some of the lessons that we are learning from the text. And we come also to the fact that at the end of the day, after Helma realizes that Krogstad had already dropped the letter in the mailbox, yeah, at first we see some behavior, and that is what Rolex was calling depression. Yeah, Nora knows that now the die has been cast. There is nothing much that she's going to do about it. The secret is going to be out. What kind of behavior does she show at this point? Yeah, she knows the letter is already there in the box. There is nothing much that she can do about it. How does she postpone this bitter reality that is coming to dawn on her husband?
She doesn't talk much. Yeah. Yes. She doesn't talk much.
How does she do the tarantella dance at that point?
Wildly.
A bit too wildly. Like, I don't know. It's like, this is, just a little wild.
Why is she doing it wildly?
From the manner in which that she was dancing, we get to see that she was trying to capture the attention of Torvald. And although she knew how to dance the tarantella dance very well, she did it in that manner of way, because at the back of her mind, she knew that she had 31 hours to live. And in as much as she had those 31 hours to live, she had to do her level best to make Helma not to read the letter in the letterbox, because when that happened, her life would be at stake right there and then. And bearing in mind that she had that the fancy dress ball that she had to perform in that night, so she was trying as much as possible to dance in a wild way, so that Torvald can take a lot of time in coaching her, and in that time that he is using, he will not use it in reading the letter.
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of the depression that you're talking about. She's trying to ensure that she pushes time. Yeah, she's buying time over and over again to ensure that the husband does not see the letter revealing the forgery that she had done. Then also she talks about when he comes to the realization of whatever she had done. Yeah, we read from page 104 around 104 to 109. We see the kind of words that Nora uses. What do you think is the significance of the short interlocutions that we have from Nora? She has very short interlocutions from page 104. Yeah, we know her as a person who speaks a lot. Yeah, she says so much, but we realize from that page 104 to page 109, yeah, she doesn't say much. You see, Nora, yes, that's just it. Yeah, when I'm out of the way, you'll be free. Yes, yeah, she has very short interlocutions. Why are we having these very short interlocutions? And then on the other hand, we find that Helma has very long interlocutions on these said pages. Yeah, this is after the realization. Yeah, she has already forged. Yeah, now for her, she has nothing more to lose. So why do you think she speaks so little at this time? The language used.
I think at this point she's lost hope with the marriage. At the back of her mind, she feels like this marriage will not work. So she's just like, you know what, Torvald, do whatever he wants to do. I've already made up my mind. I feel like leaving, and I don't think there's anything you can do to change that. Yeah, I think that's why.
Yeah. What attitude, when we talk about creation of attitude, we say that attitude is revealed through the choice of words. Yeah, and already here we have the choice of words, and also we have the length of the sentences that we construct, and this one is dependent on the emotional well-being. Yeah, when I'm very happy, I could construct very long sentences. When I'm very angry, I could choose to talk very little. Yeah, do you feel that Nora talks so little out of desperation? She's so desperate at this time. Yeah, hair has broken loose. Do you feel like she's talking so little because now everything is coming to an end? The husband has known about it. So what next? What do you think about her emotions at this time?
I think that Nora's emotions at this point are very low, and she does not know what to do. Her wit has already been surpassed by the letter that Krogstad dropped into the letterbox. And I think that at this point, she's so depressed and she's so desperate for. She wants to see what will happen, because at that moment we get to see that she had already focused her mind on suicide. That's why she said that 31 hours to live. And she wants really to see what will be the actions from this man, the man that I knew that loved me that much. And the man, from the text, we will see that Trevor at one point said that he loves him, he loves Nora very much, and he can do anything, even die because of her. But according to the reaction, she's so desperate. I think she did not expect the turn of events that the way they happened. I think she thought that maybe from what he has seen, he will continue petting me with the names, and maybe from that he will tell me, don't worry, I will help you pay the loan. Furthermore, I have the money. But that's what is not what she gets.
Yeah, so
she's really depressed.
She's frustrated at the end of it all. Yeah, the person who has been calling her my little skylark, my squirrel, is now calling her a hypocrite, a liar, a thoughtless woman. So she feels that life has really turned against her. Yeah, and in a very desperate moment, she has already made up her mind that she's not going to continue with this marriage. And do you feel that this is what happens in our real lives? I have seen, or I have heard people say, when you have a woman in your house who has been previously very talkative, she gets so mad at you, you do the same thing, tomorrow she's very mad at you, the third day you do the same thing, she gets very mad at you. Is it a reality that the day you come home and she's not getting mad at you, she's talking very little? Yeah, the next day you do the same bad thing, you come, she says she's fine, you ask her, she says that she's okay. Don't you think that still waters run so deep? I think this is when men are told you need to start thinking twice. This woman is on the verge of leaving you. Do you think that this is true in accordance to whatever Nora is doing in the text?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is true, because if you keep doing the same thing repeatedly and someone gets tired, and you just don't know what's going on at the back of their minds. They might be plotting to leave, or just, leave you to live your life the way you wanted it to live, and especially if you're not ready to rectify. So I think it's at that point where you should question your actions and you just seek a way forward if you can. Yes.
Yeah, because remember, after all this silence, she's not talking much, talking so little, and then finally she drops the bombshell. Yeah, she tells him, I'm leaving, and she's not ready for any discussion with him. But when she drops the bombshell, a coincidence happens that Krogstad withdraws the threats, he withdraws he demanded money from them. Yeah, then it is kind of he forgives them. Yeah, it is withdrawn. In fact, he talks of we are forgiven. And there is that bit that he starts with, I am forgiven. In fact, he doesn't talk of we. He says, I am forgiven. Does it bring an aspect of selfishness on Helma? I am forgiven. And then, in fact, it is Nora who asks a question, and me. Yeah, and then he now says, we are forgiven. Does it bring an aspect of selfishness on Helma's side?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it brings an aspect of selfishness, because I think he was only looking out for his reputation and how people would see him, and how it would affect him. So he didn't really care what happens to Nora and all that stuff. He just cared bad about himself.
Yeah, the pronoun I reveals some aspect of selfishness. It was all about himself, his reputation, and he doesn't mind about the emotions that Nora is going through. One, she feels very unappreciated. Yeah, I did all this to save your life, and this is what you're doing to me. Then after that, after this letter comes that they are forgiven, we find that Helma talks of forgiven you. Do you think that this forgiveness towards Nora is genuine? Do you think it's genuine?
I don't think that the forgiveness is genuine. I would rather say that the words that he uses after the bond is sent back to them, it's more of the masculine ego. He's speaking from men and masculinity point of view, because you cannot just offend somebody in all ways that you can, and then you just say you are forgiven, and it's just that you are forgiven, and let us go, let us continue with our life. You'll continue being my little pet, and they'll continue providing for you. So I don't think it is genuine forgiveness, because I'm sure that if the next time Nora does the same thing. That's the same lash that he had when he found out, it will be the same. And as you all know, a person who lashes out at you, it's either a friend who loves you or an enemy who hates you very much. And from Tova's point of view, I would 100% sure that it's an enemy who hates you. So I don't think that his forgiveness is genuine.
Yeah, because don't forget that this forgiveness should have come whether they have been forgiven or not. Yeah, he should have forgiven her unconditionally. Yeah, whether they are going to repay the money or not, at least he should have forgiven. Her. So finally, we see that Nora slams the door and just leaves, isn't it? Yeah. What is your feeling of the ending? What is your feeling? And should she have slammed the door and just left?
Personally, I'm not happy with the ending about it. I think that Nora and Torvald should have sat down together, go through their issues and settle them. Then they restart all over again, where Nora is no longer treated like a doll.
Yeah. So you feel after this she's supposed to be treated right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we feel at the end of it all, there is also a feeling that Torvald is ready to listen to her. He's ready for a reconciliation. At the end of the text, there are several statements that he makes, and some of them prove that I have it in me to become a different man, yeah, meaning that he's ready for change. But Nora is not ready for dialogue, and that is why from the beginning I said that I'm not really comfortable, and most people are not comfortable with the ending of the text, and Wesley called it melodramatic. It ends in a way that is exaggerated in a way, yeah, because here we are having a woman who feels I've not been treated right. Here is a man who feels like we can sit and talk over this issue and life moves on, but then the wife is not ready to listen to whatever the husband has to say. She just slams the door and moves out. But I feel at the end of the day, what we have here is the writer. This is a feministic agenda that is being pushed, whereby he wants to prove points of if a woman has to make it in life, then she must move away from the confinement of male dominance. And we have a feminist in the 1920s known as Virginia Woolf, and she wrote an essay known as A Room of My Own. And in this essay, Virginia Woolf says that a woman can only make it in life if she has her own money, if she has a room of her own. And in this case, a room of her own is symbolic of the fact that you have to come and get your own space where you're not being controlled by a man. Yeah? And she says that if a woman has money and a room of her own, this is the only time that she can be independent enough and exploit the potential that has been previously curtailed by living in a male-dominated society. She has, like Nora feels like she has been under so much male dominance. Yeah, there is that male subjugation that has been there in her life, and walking away she feels that she's there to emancipate herself and generally all the women at large. So I feel at the end of it all, there is this feministic agenda being pushed, yes, that a woman can only be independent so that she can make it in life. Yeah, she cannot thrive under the male dominance. But at the end of the day, the issue that I have is that one again is breaking marriages. Yeah, these independent women, they are breaking their marriages so that they can make it in life. And Mrs. Linde in the same text reminds us that a marriage is important. At the end of the day, I'll go out there, I'll make money, I feel I've made it in life, but at the end of the day, we still need to protect our families. Yeah, she leaves behind the children. What kind of an image is this that is being created in the society today? Yeah, so we feel that the ending of the text is a bit wanting. The conflict resolution is not really the best, because I feel she should not just have slammed the door. So as we come to the conclusion, what do we feel about this text? Literature, we say, is a mirror that reflects what happens in the society, and what we have in this text is a direct reflection of what we have in our society today. So we want to thank the viewers for having been with us in the whole of this show. I want to thank my active students who have participated in this show, and we also want to thank the media house for having given us an opportunity to air the views in this book. Thank you, Paris from Nyandaro High School.
Well, thank you, Paris. That is riveting. So
the woman should have stayed, right?
She should have stayed.
Okay, and we all agree with that?
Yes.
Wow, okay, so she should not have left, even after being mistreated. So would you have stayed or left?
I would have stayed if he agreed to treat me like an adult, like a woman, like his wife.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there was history of him not doing that.
Yeah.
So what would have made you believe him this time around?
If his actions proved relevant to me, like if he actually changed after that.
Okay, and yourself, would you have stayed or left?
I would have stayed
Why?
because, like, from the text, Torvald was apologetic. He said that he will change, and I will stay and see whether he will change.
So
then.
why would you believe him? How do you know that he will not go back on his word? I'm not the feminist she was talking about. I'm just trying to provoke something.
Because he's my husband.
So you believe him because he's your husband?
Yeah.
Okay, Teacher Paris, you would have stayed or left?
I would have stayed.
Why?
First reason, all marriages are not smooth. And the only reason I would leave is when there is maybe physical abuse. We have not seen Helma abusing her physically. Yeah, and even maybe the abuse that we feel that Nora is going through is just being treated like a doll. She's not being given a space of her own, time to make her own decisions, time to go out and earn her own money. I think that's an issue we can discuss. The only issue that I would not discuss, and then also this man is providing, he's a good provider as a husband. He has so many positives. And because he's ready for dialogue, if I were Nora, I would give him a second chance. If it fails, as you are cautioning us, would you believe him? Then the next time I would deal with it in a different way. But this time, I would give him a second chance.
So how long should a woman undergo abuse, whether passive or active, before they make the decision to slam the door like she did?
There should be several attempts.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the only attempt, the first attempt that we see. She slams the door and leaves. Yeah, when we talk about marriage is an institution where we should have constant forgiveness.
Yeah.
And we don't see it here.
So you feel that's what this book should be teaching?
Yes.
Like, don't just walk away.
Yeah.
Stay in and fight.
Yeah, give room for dialogue.
Yes. Okay. So this book, so do you believe you'll pass this book? Your time ya msema kweli ikifika?
Yes.
After this discussion?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You've been very quiet, by the way. What school do you come from?
Taranganya Boys,
Where is it?
Migori County.
Okay. Nice. And yourself?
From Nyandaro County, Nyandaro High School in Nyandaro County.
Where Teacher Paris teaches?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you find the session?
I don't think it was actually fun, very fun. And we have been with her for all that time, even in school.
Yeah.
And I believe I agree on our own point of view. And I know that I'm going to pass this book. It's really sweet. Apart from the ending.
Oh, apart from the ending, you call it melodramatic.
Yeah.
I remember that. What do you have in mind to become when you grow up? I know right now you think you're grown up, but you're not.
I want to become a lawyer,
Ah,
although I have another choice in pursuing international relations and diplomacy.
I see. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning. We really appreciate you taking the time, coming all the way from Migori, Nyandarua, and Nyandarua, Migori, Kiambu, Loreto, yes, good. So thank you for coming, Teacher Paris. That was a great session in moderating. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to the viewers, you get the opportunity to win a copy of this book, A Doll's House. Get to know the marriage melodramatic stuff going on in here, and all you have to do is get in touch with us through our social media, hashtag KTN Life and Style. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let us know why you want this book, and also what you gleaned this morning from this conversation. Until next week, have a great Monday.